Born in 1821, Clara Wieck is a German composer and performer. She had a concert career that spanned 61 years, giving in excess of 1,300 performances. She was really considered one of the most distinguished pianists of the Romantic era, male or female. Her mother, Marianne Tromlitz, was a singer, and her father, Friedrich Wieck, was a composer. He was a musician and also Clara's main teacher. He was also a bit of a micromanager and scripted out every second of young Clara's day. He instructed her in hour-long lessons daily in piano, violin, singing, theory, composition, harmony, not to mention a minimum of 2 hours a day of practicing. Now we're up to 7 hours, 8 hours here. And he felt exercise was really important and had the nannies take the children on a minimum of a 1 to 2 hour walk every day. In 1828, when Clara was 8 years old, she made her premiere performance. And she performed in the house of a family friend, Dr. Ernst Koldis, who was the head of a mental clinic in the Kolditz Castle. And at this performance was another musician who was 9 years her senior. His name was Robert Schumann. Robert heard her play and was so impressed with her playing that he immediately wrote to his mother, and he asked permission to be excused from his law studies and wanted to know if he could go and study piano with this unbelievable teacher, Friedrich Wieck, who was clearly, turning out amazing pianists. His mother reluctantly consented, and within a few weeks, Robert had moved into the Wieck household and studied with Friedrich Wieck, where he lived for over a year. And during that time, he formed a very close bond with Clara, so much so that 10 years later, over strenuous objections from her father, they married. Clara's career brought her into contact with many of the leading musicians of her time. She was friends with Chopin, with Liszt, with Mendelssohn, with Brahms, with the famous violinist Niccolo Paganini, just to name a few. And our concert today really only allows us to sort of touch on a few of those relationships. But in planning this program, we really wanted to explore music that centered around Clara and family, because family was so important to her. Clara was the main breadwinner for her family. She organized most of her own concert tours and refused to accept charity. Even when times were hard and other musicians banded together and created a benefit concert, she refused to accept any of the proceeds. She raised her own large family and even took on responsibility for her grandchildren when some of her children became incapacitated. And sadly, 4 of her 8 children died before she did. This trio that we're going to play part of for you today is arguably one of her greatest compositional achievements. Written in 1846 during a time of tremendous personal stress for her, you can hear that it's really reflected in the music. It has sort of an autumnal, melancholy quality to it. But it really shows her mastery of the sonata form, and also she used it as an opportunity to pay an homage to several composers that were really important to her. So there's, in one movement, which we're not playing today, sort of a fugue-like section, which was her homage to Bach, and in the third movement, which you will hear today, was her homage to Chopin. Clara Schumann's Trio. devoted to the music of Clara Schumann and the friends and family of Clara Schumann, we would be remiss if we did not include Clara's soulmate and husband, Robert Schumann. Robert Schumann is best known as a composer and a music critic. He's probably best remembered for his piano works, his songs, some of his symphonies, and a few of his chamber pieces. He made significant musical contributions to all the musical genres and even cultivated a few new ones of his own. He had a dual interest in music and literature, and because of that, it really led him to develop historically informed musical criticism. He was the leading Romantic composer and had a powerful impact on subsequent generations of musicians. As one of his most important interpreters, Clara premiered almost all of Robert Schumann's important piano works. The songs that we're transcribing for you today are from a series of duets for soprano and baritone that Robert wrote. We picked these particular beautiful pieces because they really characterize Schumann's love for his wife and family. In the first song, Familiengemälde, or Family Portrait, in the song you're seeing a grandmother and a grandfather depicted. They're sitting in a garden. They are acting so lovingly towards one another. It's as if they were a much younger couple. And clearly through their life together, their love has only deepened and strengthened. Er und sie, he and she. Here, a young couple deeply in love with each other are looking over a scene of unparalleled beauty, but they see nothing but the face of the one whom they love. Wiegenlied, a cradle song at the bedside of a sick child, is really the prayer of every parent who has ever had an ill child. Singing words of comfort to the child that when they wake they'll see a beautiful sunshine, the ripest, freshest cherries will be picked in a bowl by their bedside. All the while the tension and fear in the music underlies that the child's life really hangs in the balance.